Hi, the news of today is that the bigger and more respected companies are slowly joining the Express LRS hype train. Why? Because today I have two Express LRS 2.4 GHz compatible receivers made by Mateksys. Let me take my digital microscope and let's see how they are built. Let's begin with the smaller and lighter Mateksys ELRS-R24-S, the one without the diversity, just with the ceramic antenna. And let's begin with the antenna side. This is the antenna, small ceramic, you see it's integrated, nicely soldered, you do not have to plug anything. And here we have the AT24-on-1C, which is the power amplifier slash low noise power amplifier, which acts just like the name says as the amplifier of the signal from the SX1280 from the Semtech. As we can see over here, the power amplifier is connected via those two resistors over here to the ESP8285, which is the next generation, let's say updated ESP8266 with some extra capabilities. That means that the Express LRS MCU is capable of switching the configuration of the power amplifier in flight and change the output power and other configuration of the thing. And here finally we have the radio connection between the power amplifier and the Semtech chipset. Notice that the radio is connected via this matching circuit, so there is some kind of impedance, probably impedance matching between output and the input. Pretty nice, so this is not the simplest way. And here of course we have the Semtech chip. Overall build quality, I have to say it's pretty awesome. Look how parallel to each other every other component is, and how nice the soldering blobs are. Nothing goes left, nothing goes right, everything looks just like it should be looking. With some, even I have to say, if they wanted, they probably could have made this slightly smaller hardware. On the other hand, I think that this big copper area over here is also acting as the heatsink for the power amplifier, because power amplifier is quite small and without active at least passive cooling, it might overheat. So I think this just big ground area over here acts as the cooling for the power amplifier. If we of course compare this with the happy model version of the compatible hardware, we will see that the radio chipset is the same, the MCU on the bottom side is basically the same, ESP8285. However, it's even hard to compare the soldering quality. Just see the difference, how parallel are those and how not always exactly parallel are those on the darker board. Oh, have I mentioned that this is a single-sided board, so the bottom side is fully flat, you can stick it to anything you want. This makes the whole board slightly bigger than, for example, the happy model. Still, it's relatively small and should fit absolutely everything. Now let's take a look at the slightly more powerful Mateksys Express LRS-R24-D, the one with the diversity, because look, you can connect two antennas to one single Express LRS receiver. Quick comparison, external size of both receivers is basically exactly the same, the only difference is the antenna. The general layout of the diversity version of the Mateksys receiver is the same. One more time, we have the Semtech SX1280 doing as the radio chipset, the same soldering quality everywhere, even this part over here with the RF matching circuit in place. We have exactly the same MCU ESP8285 driving this whole thing, but here we are coming into the first and the biggest difference between those two receivers, because the power amplifier is completely different. The one on this board has no capability to do the antenna switching. This is why the SIGI 2431L power amplifier slash antenna switcher is implemented. See, both antennas, both connectors are connected via the RF matching circuits into the power amplifier antenna switcher, and then only to the SX X1280. This is very important. This is antenna diversity. This is not the full diversity. The full diversity would be when we have two separate radio chipsets connected to two antennas. This is, for example, the case with the Immersion RC Ghost Atto Duo. Those have two radio chipsets. This one has only one. This is slightly worse because it's not really getting reception from two antennas at the same time. It's rather checking which antenna has the stronger signal and switches to this one. So losses of the signal might be possible. Still, the radio is fully capable of switching to the current antenna when the one antenna has much better signal reception than the other. Of course, the antennas are standard sleeved dipoles. This is brass tube connected with the 27 and the something millimeter wire over here. This is nothing super fancy, and this is the receiver in its all beauty. And of course, one more time, the bottom side is completely flat, so you can glue it to whatever you want. I'm Paweł Spychalski, thank you very much for watching and happy flying!